One of my viewers recently asked, how much of a prepper would you say you are? And I responded, definitely not a hardcore prepper. I mostly plan for short-term localized emergencies. And a lot of that reasoning has to do with my job and training as someone who has performed hazmat incidents and who has witnessed a bunch of natural events locally, which resulted in the evacuation of persons from their homes, either for a short duration or a long duration. And those are the spheres that I'm most familiar with. In particular, one of the things that really concerns me are train derailments. Now, this is an image of a train derailment hazmat situation that I was involved with back in 2000, and you will see very shortly some of the results of that. Thankfully, the material was not something that would become entrained in the air and disperse widely. And this is the train here. As you can see, some of the you can see a set of wheels on the right hand side, and a little further in the center left you can see one of the rail cars actually overturned slightly. And coming up, you can see a similar image with one of the responders who I happen to work with, standing on the side there on the left in his level D hazmat response equipment and clothing, just rubber boots, coveralls, and a hard hat at this point. There's really no danger from chemical exposure here. And this is the actual train or the rail car that actually fell from the trestle down onto what normally would have been a very busy roadway that could easily have fallen on a bus full of kids, city bus, pedestrians, or just a car going by. And this is a close-up view of the rail car. You can see scattered on the ground in front of it parts of the tie, which were essentially ripped loose as the train did whatever it did. It just flipped over and fell from the trestle, and ties battered and strewn down there as well. And what we have here is the chemical product that actually spilled from the train, and that happens to be phenol, which is a pretty toxic material. You've all smelled it before if you're old enough. It's the same smell as the white paste that we used to use in kindergarten. And as you can see, the sewer is blocked, and that's to prevent the material from migrating from the location. And one of the reasons why you actually want to keep it from migrating from the location is sewers happen to be a transit way for materials to enter people's homes, and also at the end of sewers you have treatment plants where workers are. So if they get hit with a slug of material, they can be overcome and seriously injured by it. In this particular photograph, this was what we took as we were actually approaching the scene. As you can see, it's already been cordoned off with caution tape on the street side anyway. And there was also some on the sidewalk to prevent pedestrians from breaking the area of concern, which we would consider the hot zone. And this is another photograph of the rail car. If you look up on the trestle, you can see the rail or the wheels that were left behind and the carriage for the wheels. Trains were designed to come apart like that. The only thing holding the train or the car onto the wheels is the weight of the car itself and the material. So they're designed to come apart like that. And this is a repeat of the similar picture from the one that was prior to the last image. And yeah, you can see the caution tape a little better. And if you look on the curb line, you'll see water, and water is released into the sewers so that the material could be forced to flow. And now I'm just going to show a bunch of rail cars as they are, as they exist pretty much, just to give you a demonstration of what does pass through urban areas, through populated regions. The chemical spill, or the derailment that I was involved with there previously, that was near a residential area, but it was mostly commercial. But even so, even if it is a commercial area, you still have people, you still have pedestrians, you have people who are on the job doing whatever they need to do, and they could just as easily be affected by a chemical release as well. And here's a train in motion. So these are all active tracks, going through urban areas, rural areas. It really doesn't matter, because recently there was an incident in Paulsboro, New Jersey, where a bridge collapsed. Probably something similar to that. Actually, a bridge over water, however. And the chemical that spilled on that was vinyl chloride. Once again, that's not considered an extremely hazardous material, although it does have, it is a hazardous material. It's not extremely hazardous. It's not going to kill you outright, but there are always long-term consequences of exposures to those things. And a lot of the people were evacuated from that area, and some people who were outside of a certain radius were told to shelter in place. And this is a short video of a bunch of rail cars just staging, waiting to be taken to wherever it is they're destined to go. So there are trains all over the place, rail cars, just tankers full of material. And here's another one. This guy's just sitting there, just waiting to be jockeyed to wherever it needs to go. And you can see it's just sitting right over top of that, not really a busy street, but it, once again, it doesn't necessarily have to be very busy. And that's one of the reasons why I fear it. In Graniteville, South Carolina, there was a train crash back in 2005, and chlorine gas happened to be released from that. Quite a few people, I believe it was 9 or 10 people, were actually killed, and quite a few people were actually injured as well. And they're going to suffer long-term consequences of their exposure to that chlorine. So you have acute effects, which could include death, and then you have the chronic, which could be a debilitated life. So those are like I said, those are some of the reasons why I fear train derailments. They happen. Trains go through your area constantly on a daily basis. You'll see rail cars. Here's another one. You'll see the box cars going by, and then there's going to be a bunch of tank wagons behind it. So that's one of the reasons why I say I'm probably not a hardcore prepper, but just my experience in dealing with certain hazmat incidents has pretty much caused me to be aware of what's going on around me. I don't really prepare so much for the end of the world scenarios, the shit hits the fan scenarios, but I do appreciate that they can happen. However, in terms of likelihood, I would say that you're more likely to have a hazmat incident or a natural or acute incident of a natural disaster, perhaps an earthquake, or maybe a tornado, something that you really can't prepare for in terms of being forewarned, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So those are the types of incidents that I strive to be prepared for mostly. Those short-term acute incidents where you may have to evacuate, where your life may be upset pretty quickly. And well, I hope you guys found that interesting, and perhaps I'll post some of the other sites that I've been involved with over the years. I've been doing what I do for 25 years, so I'm pretty well versed in a lot of incident response type scenarios, be they train derailments, uh, tank truck turnovers and spills, spills to waterways, industrial fires and such. And whatever it is, pretty much I've probably done it all by now. Okay, thanks for watching, and comments are welcome. And just look up some of these incidents. Like I said, just the two that come to mind: Paulsboro, New Jersey, and Graniteville, South Carolina. Okay, thanks for watching.